Hey, welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast, Washington football team pre-draft and off-season special. CP3 and DujunneaB going to be bringing it to you live from the lab, breaking down the Washington football team free agent moves. Some feedback. Stay tuned. It's a dry run. Might have to redo some things. I'm getting a hellified delay in my headphones.
CP3, live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate us.
This is a season-end review on one of my favorite players in this league, even though he was just a rookie, in Chase Young. Because this video right here in this review isn't about stats or numbers. It's about effort. It's about uncommon effort that Chase Young plays this game with. A joy and an effort that we want to just see from our team, from our players. And he exemplified that from the day he showed up in Washington. Now, when you watch him play, he has athletic ability. Be able to put that foot in the ground, go chase, and just get in a pile. Just go hit something. That's how you play the game. It's about how to affect the game. Just this type of movement, just laying out. Just giving it all you got. Put it all out there. Get the ball out. Like, feel good about it. Have some fun. Play with love. Just explode right here. Get through it. The study of a football player, the scouting of a football player is about the study of movement. Get skinny, slide, slither, get to the backfield, and then just make something happen. This is how you play the game of football. This is how you change a culture that has been losing. You run and you chase and you hit, and the ball pops out. The effort, the pop, you can just feel it. It changes the way your team thinks. It changes the way you come to practice every day. You come different. Look at this. Like, you just keep coming. The ball's out, and you just be able to scoop and score. Like, athletic ability, you put them in a tuxedo, it would make no difference. Just find the end zone. Change the culture. That's what this video is about. That's what this kid did this year. He let everybody feel his punch. This third down right here, Andy Dalton, watch what he does right here. Like, the first thing he does is, did he get the first down? Nah, he's a yard short. Cowboys got a punt. Cam Curl, those two guys joined at the hip. The second pick in the draft and the 216th pick in the draft. Cam Curl, Chase Young. They changed this culture. In 4 months, they changed this culture. And then how about a former Buckeye? Zeke Elliott, one of the league's best. Let him feel your punch. Let him feel your punch. Let him know that there's a new kid on the block here. They're in Washington. Change his game. Double teams don't work. Spin. Not everybody can spin like that. Get to the quarterback. Flags out. Don't let Carson get out. And punch it out. Punch that ball out. Change the game. That's what this video is about. It isn't about numbers. He's going to get better. He'll learn more moves, more counter moves. He'll see more. But in his first year, like Andrew Thomas, forget it. Tight ends, look at Daniel Jones go down to the ground. Never stay blocked. Never. Keep the feet moving. Get to the quarterback. Yeah, it was a sack chase. He was behind the line of scrimmage. Scouting is a study of movement. Look at this movement right here. Just one hand, taking the back down. Tackle for losses. They're going to start adding up over the years. These two rookies, Cam Curl in the middle, Chase Young on the outside, joined at the hip, the same draft. Here he comes. Now, the ball pops up, and there's Cam Curl, changing the game, changing the culture, game by game, play by play. I love what I see from this football team. You remember this? You remember this game in Pittsburgh? You remember how Washington they just took it to the Steelers. They broke their sword. They broke their sword slowly. This is how you play the game. Uncommon effort. You get to the sidelines. You take Juju down. Short of the first down. You make them punt. Remember this goal line stand right here? 4th and 1 right here. Could the Steelers punch it in? Not when Chase is coming after you, wrapping the legs up. Cam Curl over there just checking on things right there. This is one of the greatest turnarounds in NFL history. Cameron Curl, the 7th round pick out of Arkansas. Nobody knew his name in training camp. Chase Young, getting it done here in the NFC East. Like right here, how many times has he seen read option in the Big Ten? Hit the quarterback, bring him to the ground, let him feel your punch, let him taste the dirt there at Lincoln Financial Field. And then it all ended. It all ended on a night in the playoffs. Not without an effort, though. Not without an effort. They gave a good fight. Taylor Heineke came in there, gave him a good fight. Gave Brady and the Bucs all they could handle. They didn't get it done, but it's a start. It's a start. And he'll learn. He'll learn a lot of things from these 17 games this year that they're not going to call this home in the playoffs. He's got to figure out a different way. He'll figure out a different way because the guy plays with uncommon effort. He loves the game with rare athletic ability. Things are changing in Washington. Get used to it. It's going to be fun to watch, and I can't wait till next year begins.
Put up for everything that we've had to deal with. You've earned the right to be the first place team in the NFC. Sir, that's who you are. Okay? So I'm gonna tell you right now. Act like it. Be professional. Understand what it takes to be a professional and do the professional thing. And understand this. Nobody, and I promise you, nobody wants to play us. I promise you that right now. We're on the roll, we're doing things the right way. Continue to work. Continue to work and do the things you need to do, guys. And give yourselves an opportunity to be very, very special, okay? Let's stay on point. Stay on point. Now, here we go. Team ball three. 1, 2, 3, team!
Welcome in tonight, Thursday night, Washington football team pre-draft offseason special, CP3 live in the lab, DujunneaB live at the breakdown lab. If you tuning in, we got a big time Capitals game on right now between the Islanders. They have 3 games back to back for first place. Both have the same record, same amount of points. It's tied 0-0 in the third period with 12:23 left. So I got that game on, and we're going to talk some Washington football team news. DujunneaB, how you doing tonight, good sir? It's been a while since we've had you on. So how you feeling tonight, brother?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. We got some football right around the corner with the draft on the 29th. You know, I know you're busy with the football coverage. I know most of my sources are busy, so I haven't had a chance to get any inside news. But it's already that time for the draft, and I know you have some great insight when we get into the draft part of the show because, you know, I don't watch college, and you got your thumb on the pulse of the SEC down there. So I can't wait to hear some of these prospects that you got to talk about tonight because I know it's a lot of folks wondering what the Washington football team is going to do with that number 19 pick. I've heard rumors of linebacker, offensive lineman, trading up for a quarterback. What have you heard, DujunneaB, if you heard anything about what the prospects are for that 19th pick?
I don't know. I think moment's the word. I think a lot of people are making a lot of assumptions. But I don't think there's really been anything that has been set in stone. I mean, anything is possible, right? I mean, you know, you don't know until things fall into kind of fall into your lap a little bit. I'm sure they have some areas where they like to go. I think there needs to be a certain focus on, taking care of the offense, and we'll just have to see how things play out as, people take their picks in front of them and see what, as they've evaluated who is available and where they'd like to go first.
Definitely agree with that. That's kind of the same thing Coach said. Really can't say what they want to do until picks start coming off the board and it start shaping up. I heard it's a couple of quality linebackers that could be some game changers for this team. You know, we have a lack of depth and, you know, explosiveness at linebacker. I actually saw, you know, rumors that Landon Collins might be playing some linebacker this year coming off the Achilles injury. And with the dynamic performance of Cameron Curl stepping up like he did, I didn't think that Collins would make it through the salary cap casualties, but looks like he did. What is your impressions of that possible move of him playing more? He was already in the box safety, but what do you think about him actually playing some snaps at linebacker?
I mean, you kind of said that. He's already been there. That's what he does. He kind of wreaks havoc on that, on the offensive line, kind of gets down in there, enables to be a run blocker and a run stuffer, takes care of everything within those short yardage plays, does an excellent job of reading that and keeping things in front of him. So I'm not surprised, and they do a lot of variations of things here in combinations of players, getting them on the field in many different ways and facets to create mismatches or to create some kind of confusion for the offense. So I wouldn't expect him. I don't think he'd be labeled as a full-time linebacker, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put him down there for different types of combination of schemes of what they want to run.
Yeah, definitely. We always talk about the defense having some diversity, having players that are interchangeable. For one, to give the offense something to think about, to try to figure out what type of defense they're coming up against. But if they're seeing a safety down in the linebacker spot, and you have Cameron Curl, who's versatile, who can play DB, either safety, then it just throws confusion into the offense and makes that quarterback think a little bit more, trying to see what coverage or see what they're trying to do, or get him to throw into the bad spots of the coverage. So it's all about flexibility and versatility when it comes to defense, along with execution, getting to the quarterback, pressure, all those good things. But we definitely, I feel, made some key additions in free agency, smart moves, because I actually got, the salary. So, we were the third highest rated team money-wise in free agency. And it's good to see this team actually making football moves and thinking in a football way and building something, and not just trying to go after the top priced free agent off of his heyday because it's a crowd favorite or it's going to sell some jerseys or whatever. How do you like this approach to the offseason so far with the some of the additions I'm about to go over and the amount of money that in some of these contracts that they signed some of these guys to?
I thought they did a good job. I think the only thing that I say that they kind of just traded one for another was in William Jackson III. If you're going to pay that guy that, you could have paid. You weren't going to pay Darby that much more. The thing with them too is probably consistency. Maybe Darby was a little bit less consistent. He had his moments, had some great moments, especially down the stretch. But that's the only thing I would say. Otherwise, it's been pretty strategic. They know where they want to go. They've been additions that don't take anything away from the team. Really gives them some ability. When you look at the Ryan Fitzpatrick signing, a guy who works hard in the film room and on the field, whether you decide to draft a QB or go with the guys you have in-house, however that works. I don't see the guy that they draft starting right away, but, you kind of get to have a guy who's kind of been there, done that, can instill the work ethic that it takes to get things done. And he understands a lot of offenses, being that he's been in a lot of offenses. He's pretty smart. You saw what he did with Tua there in Miami. So, overall, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff there for the football team in regards to those free agent signings.
Yeah, you say there's a trade-off for William Jackson and Darby. I don't know. I think Jackson is more physical because he's more of a man corner, and I think I'm hoping that the logic behind that is we're going to stop seeing these corners 5, 8, 10 yards in this zone coverage that they love to run, I just feel like he's more physical. He's a jam you at the guy, and he doesn't miss. I think that was some of the issues we saw in Philly with Darby. That when he tried to get physical, that he got out physical sometimes, in my opinion. But I think it's an upgrade. My question is with Fuller on the other side. I mean, he's been a quality corner, but in my opinion, he's a stronger slot corner than outside corner. I would have liked Fabian Moreau to get a shot at the outside, but he left via free agency. So how do you feel about the Fuller Jackson combination on the outside?
I would just have to see. I think everything's contingent on how Jack Del Rio designs the offense or designs the defense. And the big thing is, and you have to keep in mind, is that with Jack Del Rio, it's never been touted to be on the secondary. He tries to limit that by getting great play from the front seven, making sure those guys are executing and getting the ball out of the hands of the quarterback in a timely fashion. That doesn't leave your back end wide the heck open and exposed. It leaves minimal exposure for them as far as the quarterback being in the pocket longer than 6 or 7 seconds, just kind of picking his target. That's going to help a ton. So I don't know. Give or take, you just really never know until you start designing things and seeing where they go as far as how they're going to play. Are they going to be aggressive? Are they going to take away the little cushions that they give here and there, and get away from the zone, or are they looking to go man? And we'll just have to see. I think there's capability for Fuller to do that, but like you said, he seems to be way more comfortable in the slot. And then there's always the draft. You really never know how things turn out, and then who knows? There could be somebody that comes up and surprises and gets an opportunity to make some plays and be that second corner. I don't think, no matter where you put them, any of those guys, I don't think there's any, hierarchy or demotion. It's just a matter of getting the job done. I think that's what they're going to look to try to do. Best combination to get the job done in that area.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree. That's definitely going to be key. What Del Rio does, how he schemes and game plans with the weapons that they've got, and I can't wait to hear about some of the corners that might be coming out the draft, because I know there's always some talent at the cornerback position. It's never a heavy crop, but you always get at least a quality 4 or 5 corners coming out of each draft that can excel. You put them in the right system. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into these free agent additions, and I'll mention the players that are no longer here. I'll go ahead and start with the signings first. We spoke about Ryan Fitzpatrick, 1-year deal, $10 million. My opinion, like you said, I was speaking to someone earlier. They felt it was a upgrade over Smith, which I agree. I just hope that we get the older Fitzpatrick that isn't the turnover machine that we've seen him be in earlier parts of his career, and one of those many stops, whatever NFL teams. I know you said earlier that you kind of like that move. Do you think, you said you weren't sure about the quarterback situation, if you felt like the guy was in the room that would be able to take it to the next level? I think that, in my opinion, from what I saw, the little bit I saw of Heineke, I think he has what it takes if you give him time to develop into a quarterback, not to be a superstar, but to be a game manager that can make some plays happen with his feet and down the field and not turn the ball over and give your team the chance to win. And I think if he can see that from Fitzpatrick and learn under him, I think that, the starting quarterback for the next, say, 5-6 years may be on this roster. What do you say?
Yeah, he definitely earns the right to beat. That's definitely for sure. As far as his potential, he made some big plays in a lot of games down the stretch. They had the playoff game. He made some big plays there. But we'll just have to see. Like I said, I don't know if Ryan is the starter. But I think Heineke deserves an opportunity, and if he does what he needs to do and picks up where he left off, right there at the end of the season, then he earns the right to start. And then they have a good insurance policy in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I think there's, it's a toss-up, really. It's who's going to come out, compete the best, look the best. You know, when it's time to get after it, and hopefully the best guy wins, and they get an opportunity to have a guy that can be stable at the quarterback position, not make the critical turnovers. And if you do make the turnovers, at least have the ability, the wherewithal, and the moxie to be able to recover from those, not allowing it to be something that's going to bury your offense alive, basically. And I think you saw Heineke do that. I think you also saw Ryan Fitzpatrick have that ability where he was in Miami. So the toss-up, man, it's a really big toss-up. And then if you throw a rookie quarterback into the mix, now you have a three-guy competition. So it'll be interesting to see who does what. But my bet, probably Heineke for now. If I was the guy to make that decision, it would be Heineke because I think he earned that right. There's no reason why Fitz needs to come in and start over him immediately.
I cannot argue that logic. Hopefully, we'll see some preseason games this year. We can actually see these guys get on the field. And I failed to mention at the beginning, you know, the NFL owners changed the season now. They have 3 preseason games, and now it's a 17-week schedule. So, forgot to mention at the top of the show with the new season coming. What is your opinion on that, DujunneaB? Because I was actually shocked that the owners would give up a preseason game because, for folks don't know about the CBA, preseason games, the owners get to keep all the revenue. They don't have to revenue share with the players. So all the concessions, parking, and all that goes into their pocket. So the fact that they were willing to give up a game in preseason and add another game to the regular season, I guess, caught me off guard, but I guess it does make sense because if you're going to play a game, at least make it a game that counts. That's going to, you know, towards the playoffs or whatever. So what is your take on this new setup, DujunneaB?
It's an interesting setup. I'm very surprised that, you know, they went this route and add the 17th game. I think if you want to do the players a favor, I think you have to add, like they did this past year for the COVID, you have to add more people to have for the teams to be able to pick from, to be available. In case of injury, you know, I would even be for expanding the roster a little bit, you know, as far as the active roster a little bit, just for the simple fact that it is 17 games. And I know people don't act like it's a big deal, but I mean, what if you get the early bye week? Then you have to play all those games, you know, all those games after getting 1 week of rest early in the season when you probably didn't need it. That makes a difference. I think it's better for that extra game that they probably would have played in preseason anyway. Likely the starters wouldn't have played in that game, but the fact of the matter is they get one more game that counts instead of dealing with games that don't count and then risking your top guys getting injured over games that just don't count. That's kind of it's a pain in the butt for fans. They don't like it, and you know, I think it stinks for players who have that happen to them as well. Your season's over and you never even got it started. So I think it's a good thing. It's fans get more football, so we'll see how it works out. But I think if they prepare right, you know, shouldn't affect players too much, you know, as far as health is concerned.
Yeah, I agree. All right, getting back into the free agency. Curtis Samuel, wide receiver, signed a 3-year, $34.5 million deal. He's versatile, has a great game-breaking speed. Should loosen the defense up on Terry now that they have another legitimate threat on the field, along with Logan Thomas and Antonio Gibson. I think Samuel is a very key piece to opening this offense up, and I want to see what Turner is going to do with this weapon. We saw what was going on with him down in Carolina this past season, them lining them up in the backfield, doing sweeps and all other types of things, just getting the ball in his hand because he's a game breaker. I would love to see how Turner's going to use him in this offense. How did you like this signing with Samuel with this 3-year, $34 million deal?
I thought that was excellent. It's something that's needed and it's vital for the team. Samuel can not just be an outside guy, but an inside guy. There's some variations you can do with your offensive setup and how you want to attack, especially at your wide receivers. You can create mismatches with him. Um, he can stretch the field too, and I think that's a plus. Having a guy who can consistently stretch the field alongside Terry. I know sometimes people can concern themselves with height, but guys who play big get up and attack the ball at key times. At the highest point without getting run through by the defender. I think that's very, very key in this, and we've seen Terry be able to do that. Samuel's done a lot of that there with Carolina, and I think that that's a great addition for Washington, allowing them to be a little bit more versatile offensively and not allowing defenses to say, okay, we're just going to take Terry away and then we're going to make your other guys beat you. Now, with those other guys and along with the guy who's proven in Samuel, you start mixing and matching a lot of those things, man. It makes it easier for those other guys underneath, to get balls. Tight ends opens up things for tight ends because now they have to respect both outsides because of their speed and ability to catch a ball that's put in their airspace, so to speak. So this is a great signing for them. I was really happy that they were able to nab that proven guy because you don't know what you always get when you draft a wide receiver, and it's likely they won't be able to draft some of those top receivers. And I don't think trading up is a smart deal for a wideout anyway.
Yeah, don't mention wide receivers. Somebody actually, when I was talking to, actually mentioned the name Josh Dotson. I was like, no. Yeah, we haven't had much luck in drafting wide receivers. But this seems like a quality signing. He has some familiarity with the coach, and I can't wait to see what he adds to the offense. And we already spoke a little bit about William Jackson, cornerback. He got a 3-year, $40 million deal. We already talked about him already, but I feel like he could definitely solidify one side of the field. True, the only knock that I've heard on him that he only has 3 career interceptions, but he answered that with they don't test me on this side of the field because I'm good at what I do. He has a lot of pass breakups. He's long, he's lanky, and he's physical, which are things I love in my corners. Dujun, anything you want to add? You want to move on to the next one? So we already talked about Mr. Jackson already.
Just the fact that, like I said, consistency is the key. Darby was a little inconsistent. He made some big plays, but then there's always that, oh no, not at this moment. Do you need to make a hiccup? And he had those moments. Like you said, consistent, very consistent. A lot of pass breakups, and may not have those INTs, but when the receiver's not getting the ball on 3rd and 11, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, it's a big deal. That means that you're getting the ball back. So I think fans will take that any day of the week over allowing catches when it's a 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, or 3rd and long type of deal where your defense can get off the field and get the offense back, get the football, and can keep getting opportunities to score.
Exactly. That's the name of the game. Next edition, Adam Humphries, slot wide receiver, 1 year, $1.1 million deal. He's a true slot guy. That's where he, gained his notoriety. He had a concussion issue last year. That's why they got him on the low for a 1-year deal and a reasonable price. I think this is much needed addition also. I mean, we know that Samuel can play in the slot, but you want someone that has in there when he's outside or he's lining up in the backfield or doing whatever. You want to keep the formations to confuse the defense. We were just talking about confusing the offense. Now with the offense, you want to have different personnel that'll make the defense think, what's going on here, what type of formation, what type of plays do they run out of this formation, boom, boom, boom. So I think it's a good addition, especially for the low price. Just a concern about the concussions. You know a little bit about Mr. Humphries. What do you think about this pick?
Yeah, I think if anybody knows time where he's been, he's been short-handed and been very underrated as a slot receiver. he creates mismatches, and like I said, with the guys on the outside that Washington has, that should now open up the middle of the field for those guys to have a little bit less traffic, so to speak, in there. And Adam Humphries is a short-handed guy. He runs excellent routes. He's right up there to me with, Julian Edelman or something like that. He can be very consistent when he's healthy. Obviously, you have the concerns over, the concussions, things of that nature. But for the most part, he's been pretty durable over his career. And again, when he's out there, he makes plays and makes those critical ones when you need a catch at the right moment. He's usually answering the bell. So I think that's another solid one to add to the wide receiver for the experience. And he has a pretty good football mind as well. So he's can impart some of that knowledge to some of these young guys that are on the roster right now.
No doubt. It's always good to have veteran, leadership out there, especially, if you're short-handed wide receiver, help some of the guys like Cam Sims, who I'm definitely going to talk about a little bit when we talk about some of the free agents that departed with him re-signing, and some of these wide receivers that they've signed. The pressure is going to be on him to step up because he got a nice little contract. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and talk. He got a 1 year, $2.1 million deal. There were some question marks about his hands. We've seen him fumble some punts. We've seen him drop some passes sometimes, but we also seen him catch some tough passes. So I think the writing is on the wall for Sims with them adding all these wide receivers via free agency, and on that day, and they still may add some through the draft. So what do you think about Cam Sims? We're talking about wide receivers. Do you think that Humphries is going to push to make him better, or Humphries is going to edge him out for the spot at the slot receiver?
We'll have to see if he can be consistent. I think that's the main thing that I want to see. And when they have last year, when they did target him, he made plays. Sometimes he doesn't make that play when necessary. I just want to see more consistent route running from him, a little bit more aggressiveness when attacking the football on a consistent basis. You want to have a guy that you can count on, and he's going to have to step up and be that guy. I think Humphries will challenge for that spot, and we'll see how it plays out. I mean, he's going to have to, continue to improve and continue to raise his game. And if he can do that, I mean, he's shown he has the ability. He in so many moments, when other guys and Terry was completely being smothered, he made some plays last year. So I like to see him continue his upward ascension, but it's nice to have the competition. So we're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Indeed, it's going to be some good competition in training camp. You want to see what training camp looks like. It's going to be open to the public or going to be, closed down. Most likely, it's probably still going to be closed down. But if it's open, if I get a chance to get down there, I'm going to try to and get some footage close to the field like I did a couple of years ago. Next signing was center/guard Tyler Larson from Carolina. Coach has some familiarity with him, and it's a depth signing. You can never have too much depth on the offensive line. And then I'll go with another ex-Panther, ex-Giant. They signed, Tyler Larson signed a 1 year, $1 million deal. David Mayo, linebacker, signed a 1 year, $900,000 deal. Once again, another depth signing. We only had 2 linebackers signed at that point when they picked him up. But like I said, definitely going to be adding through the draft, I feel. And I think both are quality signings, for the price and for veterans and for, can contribute on different levels by being versatile. What do you think about those 2 signings?
Again, another well-done job. Just like I said, you need all the depth you can get and all the competition you can get. So I think they, it's a good job overall, and I take it.
No doubt. The rest a couple I have are re-signings, players that were already on the roster that re-signed. Danny Johnson signed a 1 year, $1.1 million deal. Lamar Miller, who a lot of folks didn't realize he was on the squad, they signed him towards the end of the year when we had some issues at running back, and he was on a practice squad, but never actually made it to the active squad. He signed a 1-year, $1.2 million deal. David Sharp played tackle. I think he started like 4 or 5 games. He signed a 1-year, $1.2 million deal. Jared Norris, they had him signed him late in the season. He was on the practice squad for most of the year. I think he got in late, some special teams. Those were the re-signings that, add depth. And they already know the system. The coach already knows them. They have a good work ethic. And, they felt like they were worthy of getting resigned. Any of those a surprise re-signing to you, DujunneaB?
Not really. I mean, a lot of these guys earn the right, so it doesn't mean that they'll be here long term. We won't know, but at the end of the day, they got themselves an opportunity to make the squad, and we'll see. Guys like Danny Johnson, I think he's done a lot to prove himself. So he's been reliable, I believe, on special teams, and also he's had to come in and play in spots, done a good job. So we'll see. Like I said, everybody's going to have to compete, man. So, they've earned the right to have an opportunity for sure.
Indeed. They also signed another cornerback, Darryl Roberts, for a 1-year, $1.6 million deal. I think he played with the Jets. He had some quality couple of seasons with the Jets. He's a depth signing and can play special teams. So that's another, spot that needs to be taken care of with special teams. They weren't horrible, but they weren't game-changing either. You want the special teams to at least be able to get you 1, maybe 2 touchdowns off a punt return, kick return a year, and we haven't had one in a while. What did you think about might as well do the last one too. DeAndre Carter, wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner. He signed a 1-year, $970,000 deal. He had some of the same issues with Sims. He's fumbled some punts and muffed some kickoffs, has potential, but the consistency isn't there. What do you think about those two last signings of the free agency period so far?
Great way to round it out with potential. So you just hope that, you're giving them an opportunity. So if they work out, then obviously, you'll keep them. But I think it's good to add the competition. Both have potential.
Indeed. I'm going to go ahead and get into the departures, and we can get ready to get into the draft part of the show. Just a quick update on the Caps-Owls game. The overtime has just ended. It's tied 0-0, so we're going to the shootout. One team will get 2 points, and one other team will get 1 point and will be leading the division by 1 point, with game 2 coming Saturday night, 7 o'clock tip, puck drop. And I'll keep you updated on the outcome of this game. And just to go through the list of departures from the team, we already talked about Ronald Darby, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Jeremy Sprinkle, Alex Smith, who retired. We spoke about that on Monday's show. Thomas Davis, who retired also. Reuben Foster, who was trying to recover from an injury for the last 2 years. They threw in the towel on him. Nick Sundberg was let go. They threw in the towel on Bryce Love. Hasn't touched the field in 2 years. He had a setback at the beginning of the season the last year, and I heard about the potential of what he did in college, but we never got a chance to see it on the field. Ryan Kerrigan is still out there. There's been some buzz that if after the draft, if he was still available, the Washington football team may still offer him a contract and see if he wants to come back. Michael Kendricks, Fabian Moreau, and Ryan Anderson, all the departures. Guess I'm gonna get your opinion on, for one, the Bryce Love release, and Ryan Kerrigan for 2.
Bryce Love, I wish he could have stayed healthy. Health is an issue, and new regime. 2 years ago, he might have got another shot. They liked betting on potential, but he's had his opportunities, and they need to fill that roster spot with someone that can be available and ready to go. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and I think that's why he's not here. Kerrigan, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it, and there's certain things that I like from Ryan, and there's certain things that other linebackers could do better. Um, I know there's this thing of he really is the last of the Mohicans, so to speak. Should get the opportunity to go out the way he wants to go out. But new regime, they have a direction that they want to go in. Um, and it's price is everything. There's a lot of things involved with that. So, you have to understand that it's a business at the end of the day. So I thought he played as well as he could and pretty well considering he's been durable since he's been here. Um, but, it's one of the things when you got newness in all the important spots. And, maybe they'll bring him back, once they kind of sort through things and see where they stand. And, I think it was just allowing him to, if he can go somewhere else, then cool. But I'm sure he would come back if given the opportunity to come back. But I don't think I was surprised though by his release. Like I said, age, money that may be garnered. They're trying to go in a young direction. They're trying to get things moving. He's got 5 years, and he's trying to get off to a quick start. Get people here and interested. I thought they did that last year by attacking what was a weak division and taking advantage of that. Because at the end of the day, sure, you're 7-9, but you still won the division that had a playoff game. That's more than most can say. So it will attract people as they continue to improve other free agents down the road, etc. So I get it. Unfortunate for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely interesting offseason. Ryan Kerrigan, I loved him, especially when it was him and Iraq Bowl, one on each side. It was, I was diehard, both of those guys. Yeah, I would love to see him come back, but he feels he still has some in the tank. He can contribute more than just situationally. Apparently, some of the teams in free agency haven't agreed, and, he's still out there. Will he come back? Will they offer him a contract? Who knows? Like DujunneaB mentioned, with all the youth and potential that we have on the defensive side, snaps that he get are taking snaps away from someone else getting more experience and getting to that level. But guess we'll get ready to head into the draft portion. But before that, yes, I'll make the announcement. The Capitals won the shootout, 1-0, beat the New York Islanders in New York. They've only lost 3 games at home all season. 1 in regulation, and this is their 3rd overtime loss. But the Capitals were able to prevail 1-0. They got 2 shootout goals over 1 for the Islanders, and that's a sigh of relief. Now I can breathe until Saturday because that's when they play them again. But DujunneaB, you're our NCAA football inside guy. I meant to list supposed to pull up the draft numbers, the picks that we have. Slipping on that. What have you seen? I don't watch any NCAA, but what have you seen from this draft class, and where are they, you feel, heaviest at the most talented positions that's coming out this year?
I think there's a lot of talent, a lot of spots. I think if you're looking at linebacker, if you need an offensive lineman somewhere, I think it's guard or tackle. There's guys in there that are versatile, whether you're a guard, whether you're a tackle that can do either or, if you needed to shift them inside. Wide receiver isn't, I wouldn't say it's deep. I mean, they've got a handful of guys, and then there's a lot of guys that have potential to round out your roster and be consistent guys, and maybe they become something, valuable, and a staple for your team. You got a couple corners, but I think it's really the trenches is where it's at. If you're a defensive guy, the front 7, and your team needs defense, the front 7, there's a lot of talent for edge rushers, D-ends, tackles, linebackers. And if you looking to bolster your offensive line and protect your quarterback, I think there's a lot of offensive linemen out there, quality offensive linemen, that if you pick right, um, you know, you can find a guy that can come in and learn your system and keep your quarterback off his back more than he's on it.
Yeah, it's definitely key if you want to win. Got to keep the quarterback standing vertical to get the ball to all these weapons that they're trying to develop and get on the same page. Just to give a quick rundown of the draft picks, I finally found it. I knew I had it somewhere on my phone. First round, they have the 19th pick. Round 2, they have pick 51. Round 3, they have pick 74. Also have another third round pick at number 82. I forgot who that was traded from. I forgot to take those notes. You have to bear with me. Got a lot going on right now. Round 4 is pick 124. Round 5 is pick 163. Then they also have 2 seventh round picks, 244 and 246. So they have a first, a second, 2 thirds, a fourth, a fifth, no sixth, and 2 sevenths. So a lot of opportunity to get some talent on this team and all of those spots. Even in the 7th round, there's still some talent out there that can help the team as long as they prospect right. But DujunneaB, so for this 19th pick, in your opinion, I guess we get your mock draft. Who do you feel this team should take if everything falls the way, yada, yada, yada? Who do you think this team will take at number 19?
It needs to continue. Now it's time for the offensive trenches to get some love. And I'd go Christian Darrisaw out of Tech. He's a great blocker. Whether you're trying to run the football, whether you want to pull him, whether he's going to do a backside block, spring a guy open. He has that ability and agility to do that. He's great with his hands. Very seldom being bull rushed. He's not going to get bowled over. Has very good leverage. Great hand placement. And he's just quick. He's quick off the ball, quick off the snap. And that's important. Does excellent job in pass protection and anchoring. And that's something that Washington needs to address. It's been a lot of inconsistency. You hit and miss. Guys can't get hurt, can't keep having these types of big-time injuries to quarterbacks, especially for Washington. They need to be able to keep their quarterback clean. Gives them the best opportunity to win. And that's where I would go if he's available. If he is not available, I think there's 2 other guys that are important. The real question is, would you go quarterback? Could you go quarterback? I'll say I'd consider it. It depends on who's available. I know there's been a lot of mock drafts, the talking heads about Trey Lance. I like Trey a lot. He has some inconsistent footwork. He gets a little lackadaisical because I think a guy like that who has the ability to run relies on his feet. He relies on his feet a lot, and I think he had to do that where he played, that's something. There was a lot of designs, runs for him. Sometimes he doesn't lack the patience in the pocket. You like to see him standing there a little longer before deciding to use his athletic ability to take off. For the most part, though, I think he's pretty accurate. But I don't know if I take him that high. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback. I'm just not sure if his play garnishes the number 1. And it depends on the offense, I guess, but not here in Washington. Mac Jones, though, there's a concern because he's an Alabama quarterback. I have my personal feelings on Alabama quarterbacks. I think he has all the intangibles needed at the quarterback position as far as the footwork. He's a very consistent thrower. He's not nearly as mobile, and that's going to be a decision that Rivera and the team have to make, whether they're looking for someone that has a little bit more mobility that can kind of, elongate plays, make some unscheduled plays, off-scheduled plays. We'll have to see about that, but I consider it at 19. But my last, and I'll tell you, my colleague Blake Lewis, he thinks Jermaine Davis, but I think Savon Collins out of Tulsa. is equally as good. They basically, when you look at their tape and you look at their intangibles, they're neck and neck. A lot of the weaknesses, and it's really the only big weakness that I see, is that people will say that they didn't play very long, didn't have a whole lot of experience, but the athletic ability for those guys are there. If you look at their tape, they crash down. It doesn't matter if it's outside, inside, A gap, B gap, whatever. They get through and hunt. Now, Collins is more of a run to the ball, but he's never had any issues with getting and navigating in the interior line to get to the quarterback. When he gets to the quarterback, he usually connects, finishes, and wins. So open field tackles, he's just as good. I know Davis is a little bit more electrifying in that realm of making open field tackles, but I'd probably take Collins, but I wouldn't be mad if they took Davis either. Davis out of Kentucky, 6'3" and a half, 234. He's very, very quick. Like I said, both guys, 6'3", 6'4" for Collins, 256 in pounds. Their versatility is amazing. I think Collins had 4 interceptions. He had 2 for touchdowns last season. So both of these guys have the ability to cover in space, and I mean legitimately cover. Not the stuff that they asked Ryan Kerrigan to do. That he did the best that he could, but these guys can line up and can actually cover tight ends and running backs, and they've done it well. So their quickness has allowed them to get from side to side. But that was going to be the guys that I'm looking at and staring at on the board. That's my pick, but I think I'd go offensive line first if Shaw is available. I like Slater as well out of Northwestern, but I'd have to go with the Vautech kid at tackle and start building the offensive line like you built your defensive line, because it's all one in the trenches. Look at the teams that have the success. They have good defensive fronts, and they have offensive lines that can protect very well.
Yeah, trenches are very crucial, and we have been having some offensive line issues. Everyone knows about Brandon Sheriff signing his second franchise deal, and apparently the negotiations for long term have stalled or whatever. So yeah, definitely need to figure some of those things out on the offensive line. But as a linebacker, we've needed a linebacker that could cover tight ends and running backs for I don't know how long. So, like I said, I would love to have a linebacker drafted at 19, but like you said, we have to start addressing the offensive line also. So I wouldn't be mad if they drafted a tackle or a lineman at 19 if it's the best player available and he's a first rounder. So I feel like that should be a good move. Who are some of the other guys that's caught your eye that'll be on the radar? Stock rise that we watched them throughout this past season of NCAA football.
There's a couple Senior Bowl guys that I like. Keith Taylor. He's a cornerback out of Washington. He's 6'2", 187 pounds. What you gotta like about him is he's always where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. Always on time. Makes plays the passing game. Makes it very difficult in press coverage for individuals to just blow by him. He makes it very difficult on the receiver. I really like his height, and his length. I think if you could add a guy like that, maybe you pick him up second or third round. I believe there's a possibility of that, especially second. If you were concerned about the cornerback position, he's a guy you can throw in the mix, kind of bolstered up a little bit, add a little bit more depth and consistency there. A great player to add to your football team. There's Alex, I think his name is Alex Litherwood out of Alabama, the offensive tackle out of Alabama. Again, another guy that you can pick up in the second round if you don't decide that you don't want to go in that route. Um, there's some work there that needs to be done. He does a lot of the simple things and a lot of the major things very well. I think the concern is the consistency level. Um, and overall though his size, you know, and his ability are there. Is he better than those guys that we mentioned earlier? Probably wouldn't be a guy that I would pick in the first round, but a guy that gives you an opportunity to add a quality player that has athletic ability to your offensive line. I think fans are kind of maybe a little bit jaded now with the project guys, being that they haven't really worked out. He's played for a contender here, and I don't like to tout the SEC as being the god of football players, but he has played in a division where there's good competition. A lot of highly touted and sought after draft picks come out of it. So I think he does would provide Washington with an option there in the draft. You have a couple wide receivers. I think they'll be there late. Dwayne Elkridge out of Western Michigan, tall guy. He can stretch the field as well. He has a quick burst off the snap. He's a guy that really has height and length, and really could give them another option at wide receiver if you wanted to add to that. I mean, obviously there would be some people that have to go by the wayside because I think they have a talented guy. But if you wanted to pick a guy, he's a guy there. I like a Dez Fitzpatrick. Also, he had 6 receptions for 90 yards in the Senior Bowl. He's not super fast, but he runs routes very well. Does a lot of things. Gets the sideline. A lot of those outs. A lot of those sideline routes. He does an excellent job of keeping his feet in, making the catch. He's very strong-handed, strong-armed. Plays through the defender. Things that you like. You have to toss up a ball against the sideline. He's coming across on, and he's next to the sideline. He can get his feet in and make that catch, without thought. There's a lot of those he had in the Senior Bowl. If you go back and watch his highlights there, he had some great catches as well. Cornerback, man, I love a Patrick Surtain, but he's not going to be there. But I tell you, Asante Samuel from Florida State, I really like him as well. He's a guy that you can add, to your chart. He's scrappy, very scrappy.
Hold. You got Patrick Surtain's son and Asante Samuel's son both playing corner and coming out in the same draft.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We getting old, man.
Yeah, we are getting old. We are getting old.
Wow.
Asante Samuel, the kid.
That's
Asante
crazy. I had no idea. That's why I'm sitting there like, hold up. I know both of those names. They sons about to get drafted. I'm like, wow.
Yes, sir. Asante Samuel Jr.
Wow. I'm sorry to cut you off. That just caught me all by surprise.
Yeah, man. I like him. He's a scrappy kid, man. Scrappy kid. Really plays through the wide receiver. He can be too physical at times. I think that may be his only negative, but he's kind of like a guy like a Williams. A lot of pass breakups. Not much. If he's there, there's not much that's coming through there. He's only 5'10" though, but I mean, size to me doesn't matter. There's a lot of guys that play big that are 5'10". I mean, we had a great that did just that. So it's been proven that you don't have to be 6'1", 6'2" to play big. So I think he plays pretty big. I think some of the things that you want to watch out for him is just his consistency. Sometimes those guys that are aggressive, sometimes they gamble a little bit, and sometimes you get beat. But overall, I like what he brings. He tackles very well, but most importantly, he doesn't allow himself to be pulled over by the wide receiver. He plays very, very strong in that regard. So, um, yeah, man, some really, really good talent, I think, in this draft, and it's just going to depend on whether Washington's just going to go best available no matter what, and no matter offense or defense. Are they really concerned about quarterback, and they feel like there's a quarterback that if it's close, will be a guy that they will go up and get? I don't know if they go as far as some people are saying. I think that's a little ridiculous because you got to give away a lot to get there, and then that kind of hurts your plan down the road. I don't think you can say that, in this draft that you would have enough pieces to warrant losing picks later down the road. Because that means you'd have to auction off to get picks back for the next draft. So I think they'll be smart about it. And if there's some guy there in the first round that they like, they might consider it. But I really don't think that's necessary this year. I think it starts in the trenches. You have your defensive trenches pretty much solidified, and all you have to do is continue to add quality backups that can rotate with your starters. You have to do the same thing on the offensive line. It has to be addressed in those tackle position, especially left, needs to be addressed. And then there needs to be guys who can gel, quality depth that can keep the consistency up, just in case you lose a guy a game or two or for long term, that there's not that big drop off from your starter to your backup.
Yeah, we've seen that happen many a times with this organization, but that's when we didn't have a true football coach that understands the depth issue and having quality depth. And I think that this team is definitely on the right path to, get into that place where they can be contenders and not be the laughing stock of the league and start getting consistent, on the field play and not just on paper of what this team should be. We can actually see it on the field each and every Sunday and have something to be proud of and cheer for and, hope for a playoff run and, let's make a trip to the NFC Championship game at least. I ain't saying Super Bowl or bust, but, the next couple of years I would love to see this team in at least the championship game. Excuse me. Any other news and notes that you want to mention before we get ready to get out of here? I know you're working on a lot covering the NHRA, the football, and all the other stuff you're doing. So, any parting shots before we get ready to get out of here, DujunneaB?
I did see Paul Smith's, his kind of what he thought on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And I like it, but if you look at the teams ahead of Washington, I know there's probably going to be a good run on quarterbacks. There are several teams though that could go the wide receiver route, and I just don't see Devon Smith being there. I also don't see Waddle being there as well. I think if there's going to be at least the first four picks are likely or could be quarterbacks. I could see the Falcons adding Smith because I know people say, I won't say Julio's long in the tooth, but he is getting older. So he's had a few more injuries. I could see them adding someone else to their arsenal. That's kind of what Atlanta does. They look at their wide receiver board now. Even if Julio was to be gone today, they still have 2 or 3 wide receivers on this squad. So I would not be surprised if they would add another one in case of an emergency, because they still have, at the end of the day, Matt Ryan. Now, obviously, they got to keep him upright, but they still have a quality quarterback that can keep the ball out and can still chuck it. So I wouldn't be surprised there. The Dolphins, I think if both of those guys are available, they're going to get one of the two. The Bengals could very well get a wide receiver as well. So I don't see any of those guys being there, but I do like your thought process. And he said something about, I think it was Najee Harris. Love that guy. Think it would be a great combination what they have in the backfield now. But don't be surprised of a Fuller out of, I think he's out of UCLA. I think it's UCLA. He's a versatile guy. Only thing about it is I know what you're looking for. I need that combination of is Demetric Fulton. I'm sorry, Demetric Fulton. It's kind of like a running back, wide receiver, kind of like what they have at running back right now. So it just depends on what direction that they want to go in and how they want their backs to perform this offense. Do you want the big back and the guy who can be elusive and be that scat back and kind of give you the versatility to line him up in kind of a wide receiver position and put him in different spots in the formation to create mismatches? We'll see. But I do like your thinking there because it would be nice to have that combination, and probably would be a pretty interesting and strong combination if those two were together. But yeah, I just say stay tuned, guys. There's a lot of people thinking that they know where Washington will go, and I know a lot of people are thinking quarterback might be it. I just think it is. You have to see how this thing is going to fall. Me personally, I wouldn't be looking at quarterback this year. I think it's just time to focus on getting your offensive lines right. You have some quarterbacks in the staple that if they can just manage the ball, take care of the ball, not doing things stupid, you got enough talent on this team to help. And I think you saw Heineke do just that when he had an opportunity. They can continue that. Got Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they can just continue that mantra for a while and wait. They can get their guy later on. Maybe you get a guy free agency. Maybe you get a guy in the draft. But I don't see any of these guys that are going to be available for them being a absolute game changer that's going to be like, yep, he's going to be the guy. He's going to change the narrative for the franchise. I don't trust it right now. Not with this team and not with where they are. Picking another quarterback again and miss it could really hurt, the rest of Ron Rivera's tenure. Because you have to believe that if he doesn't fall to you, you're going to have to go up and get it. And you have to go up and get it. You're going to have to give up draft capital to get it. That crap ain't free. We all know that. Especially if they sense a little blood in the water, like sharks. They will be asking for as much as they can get, especially if you come off desperate. So, I'd stay away from it. Bolster your lines, get the protection needed, and I think everything else can fall into place.
I cannot argue with your logic. Cannot argue with it. So, what you got going on the breakdown with the NHRA coverage? I see you've been out of some races, starting to heat up out there. What's going on with the NHRA?
Well, we should have the breakdown back hopefully next week. If you're not aware, we're making moves now on Eastern time. So moved from Florida to Georgia, finally getting settled in my new home, and the studio is slowly coming together. We got some things to do, but at least we're able to do this, right?
No doubt.
As far as NHRA, it's been pretty interesting. Seems like we started the season over again, being that it started in March, the beginning of March, at the Gator Nationals. For the first time, they started on the East Coast, first race of the season, kind of making an adjustment due to the COVID-19 pandemic and California not being ready. Normally, they started Pomona with the Winter Nationals. Thought that Pomona would be the second race, but California was still not ready to receive that. So that race has been postponed. Ended up having to wait almost 4 weeks to go to Vegas for the first ever 4-wide Denso Sparkplug Nationals out there this past weekend. Had some first-time winners. Bob Tasca, funny car, was able to get a win. Steve Torrance, the reigning defending champ, got a win. He had a really good time out there. Erica Enders comes out, gets a win in Pro Stock car after having a really tumultuous weekend trying to figure the car out. Qualified very low in the bottom half of the field, and while Greg Anderson was looking like a beast, he got put out, and she was able to go and take the race after not looking so good in qualifying. Really wouldn't have thought that car would have turned around as quickly as it did with the problems that they had. They had to run a vanilla run just to get into the show. So pretty interesting stuff there. You know, it's been weird because that big gap, it felt like we started the season over again in Vegas. But they'll be chomping at the bit here in 2 weeks. They'll be in Atlanta for the Southern Nationals. This will be the last race at the Atlanta track as they are selling it. So lots of history here at Atlanta. If you are anywhere near the area, can get to Atlanta, I suggest you get on, see if you can get your tickets for that race. It's going to be a good one. It's early in the season. There's a lot on the line right now, and with the racing being sporadic in the first 2 weeks, as far as the distance between race to race, racers are going to be chomping at the bit. We've had some new winners last week, and I don't expect any repeat winners this week. Maybe Erica Enders repeats, but outside of that, I think when you look at Pro Stock Motorcycle, we had a new winner this week. I believe it's Scotty Pollard. I could be wrong, but it wasn't Matt Smith, the champ. So you're going to be betting that Matt is going to come back out and be looking to get that Wally again to try to keep pace and put himself in position and good position before the countdown. Funny car, same thing, Top Fuel. Lots of good stuff out there, lots of good cars running. So if you can get there, catch it. If not, look at your NHRA schedule. We should have that up. I should have that up for you on Twitter. Also, we'll do a Ghostcast. You can catch me at NotBland21 on Ghostcast for Apple subscribers. Have the Not Bland show over there. Also, do the NHRA card over there as well, bringing you news and notes and some hot topics as well. So that's what we got going on, man. I'm trying to stay busy, trying to keep everything in line. So much stuff going on, but we're trying to do our best here on this end.
You ain't never lied, brother. We got a lot going on all over the place. As always, appreciate you coming on. Yes, I'll go ahead and do the shout out. As always, appreciate y'all checking out Sports OTHP. We'll be back on Monday night, 9 o'clock as always, talking Capitals. As I mentioned, they won 1-0 tonight. Playing the Islanders again on Saturday. And once again on Tuesday, the last 3 times of the season series, trying to solidify number 1. We'll be talking Nationals. They took their off tonight. They won 2 out of 3 in the previous series. I forgot if they played. Don't get me trying to jog my brain now. And we'll be talking Wizards, who's actually won 7 in a row. I had to re-look at that twice on my sports app. They've actually won 7 in a row and actually in the 10th spot, holding the playoff spot right now. So we'll recap the week that was on Sports OTHP Monday night. Make sure you go check out the website, sportsothp.com. Robbie's got some new merchandise up there for the Capitals fan with Anthony Mantha. You can always go get I know it's summertime about to be, but you can cop the hoodies, T-shirts, backdrops, pillows, coffee mugs, cell phone cases. Just go check it out. It's a link on there for Sports OTHP apparel. If you're looking for a new user pre-owned certified vehicle, come holler at me, Waldorf Honda, 2450 Crane Highway. We got the best deals, best cars, best prices. Come on down there and holler at me. About to get out of here. We'll be back Sunday at the Bar Radio, 6 o'clock. I forgot who the guest is, but me, 151, we'll be taking care of all the current events, politics, independent music, and all the good stuff. Speaking of independent music, I'm about to end the show with Renegade, 2 back-to-back videos, and TJ May Crow, who I love her track. She's from New Zealand. Send her some music. You get music from worldwide audience. So if you into the independent music, hit me up. Play your music. Play it on the air. Get a worldwide audience, and we critique your music. So if you can't take criticism, don't send it in. But CP3, DujunneaB, out. Catch y'all next time. Hail to the Washington football team, and appreciate the love and support. We out.
Morning. money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. Money, make you shut him off. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say. Stay up out of my way. Cause money, make you shut him off. Keep playing with this goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming, oh my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they may seem surprised. This is homicide, we just multiply. We been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money's what I'm talking about. Day in my life, take me a different route. And use all my case, niggas on my face. You can get erased, what you talking about? Money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay. I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm ballin', I'm winning, I'm feeling like Robert Tahori. Nigga, I'm scoring, I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign, so independent, my money be corporate. These raps is boring, you hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring, she always go ahead and let me explore it. I call her my Dora, you can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in, if a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in, jump in, take trips, Pompeii, all day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, man. And you can never, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you play the game, then you play by the rules. Money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money's what I'm talking about.
Get this motherfucker right. Right.
If you ain't a boss, switch your position. They hating me on the low. I cannot listen. I pack your bag if you trippin'. I got me your superstition that you been looking for ways. Get me up off this mission. riding no solo. Used to bag up them Cinco's just to make back that Ocho. Going into OT when I was loving that Coco. Spit it all on some promo. I'm talking tables and photos. Dying for what I love. I forgot about the Toto. Don't become a D-Rust. That mean you breaking a broco. Man, all of these threats, I might just buy me a fofo. Try and get all of these checks so I don't see you just no more. Man, you rapping ass niggas. I see you done change. Even when I touch my first million, I stay the same. You can't deliver the know. Fuck this game like a porno. They hearing this like, oh no, ain't from DC, but he go. Trying to make a flip up off a quarter P. This is what it is and what it's supposed to be. I've been right here if you ain't noticed me. It's them Southside squad niggas 40 deep. We been right here if you ain't noticed me. We been right here if you ain't noticed me. We been right here if you ain't noticed me. We been right here if you ain't noticed me.
Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it, it's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. Take me to a place where everybody learns, where everybody sees, where everybody shows their love. I didn't think so. You know. That's why I always should play for you or me. I really didn't think so. I take a promise, I give it some love, I make a wish upon a star. You know you gotta get it right. You know you gotta get it right. Ooh. Every little thing counts now. Every little bitty thing. Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it, it's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. It'd be so cool just to celebrate all the love and all the hate that's going down.